Why is open source software important? I've always enjoyed the way that open source software and free software had this principle behind them of giving power to the users. But it also turns out to be important for a career and also for building communities. And it's also a great way to have fun online. It's constructive. In this video, I want to share 3 major reasons why open source software is important. And we'll start with number 1. It is the engine of the modern world. For example, iOS and Mac are based on BSD, which is open source software. Android is based on Linux, which is open source software. And every major tech company runs open source software on thousands of servers behind the scenes. Without it, their services would cost a lot more. They wouldn't be able to offer what they can. So it's been a real boon to the entire internet/tech industry. And even as a programmer, the languages that you program with tend to be managed by open source. I think it's very rare that there's any sort of a proprietary language that people would use, but if they do, it's because their employer signed a big contract and they have no choice. The point is, there are layers of open source software and projects under almost everything you do today. The second major reason why open source software is important is that you can depend on it long term. The word open in open source means that the code is out there. It's not a company secret. It's not a trade secret. It's not something that's going to be hidden behind lock and key at a later date. So if you're using open source technology and open source software, you can depend on it being there forever. There's also the term free software, which is not about free as in cost. It's free as in you are free to use the software as you like and to change it and to share your changed version of it. So some people are kind of more into it and they prefer free software or free Libre open source software. You'll see FOSS and FLOSS, these acronyms that are related. The point is though, yes, you can depend on it long term. You can depend on it as a user. You can count on it as a tool in your toolbox if you're a programmer or an IT or just a layperson and you want to get more power over your technology. The third major reason why open source software is important is possibility. To realize how many things you use that are open source and that you can contribute and sort of pay it forward so the next generation has even better things to use with the same freedom I talked about before. You can help build open source software. You can start a new project, see it as an empty canvas. So it's just all this possibility. If you're looking for something to do with free time and you want to learn more about technology and you want to learn to program, for example, or you want to learn how to run a network or create a server, open source provides this community and context in which you can do all of that. And I would even say it's helpful socially because open source communities, they need volunteers and so they tend to be pretty welcoming. And if you join, it's kind of easier to join this group because everyone's focused on this thing. It's not like it's a purely social thing where it's focused on you and every member who's joining, but at the end of the day, we're focused on this project. So you can think of it like a board game. Playing board games can make it a lot easier to join a little group. Nice, that's about all I have. If you like this video, you want to see more about alt tech and open source software, you can hit subscribe for more videos just like this. Thank you and have a great day.